Dan Savage recently started the It Gets Better campaign as a way for gays and lesbians to reach out to kids who are being bullied, harassed, or discriminated against, and tell them that life does get better. It's a really great idea because kids who are gay or think they might be gay don't always get much support from the people who are supposed to stand up for them. Their school, their community, their church, sometimes even their own family. It's really difficult to grow up like that, and it's important for them to know that things can improve, and there's a lot to look forward to. Someone said that I should make a message for the project, but I wasn't really sure how helpful I could be. I mean, I dropped out of school when I was 14. That's when most kids start high school. I was never bullied that much, least of all for being gay. At that age, I still wasn't totally sure I was gay, and it didn't seem like anyone else noticed. I haven't been to college, so I can't really talk about the tolerant and liberal atmosphere of higher education that you can look forward to. I haven't moved out of the conservative little suburb I grew up in and headed for a more gay-friendly urban area. So how exactly can I relate to these kids and tell them that it'll get better? Well, I still made it through some tough times, and for me at least, it did get better. Here's how it was for me. When I was really young, my school decided that I should just skip 1st and 2nd grade because I already knew most of it and move up to the 3rd grade. So I was always in classes with kids who were a couple years older than me. That made it kind of hard to get along with them. There wasn't any hostility between us, they just didn't always see me as an equal and treated me more like a curiosity rather than someone to relate to. Meanwhile, me and the other kids my age could hardly even understand each other, and we didn't have much in common. So I ended up not having that many friends when I was growing up, and yet nobody really gave me any trouble either. It was more like there was a kind of unbridgeable gulf between us, and I was just entirely outside of their social sphere. So I know what it's like to be left out and treated like you're something fundamentally different from everyone else. Now, once I got to high school, things started going downhill. I was only 12 years old, and everyone there was 2, 3, 4, 5 years older than me. This is what I looked like in the 10th grade. It was kind of overwhelming, and I don't think I was prepared for it. I was never really that good at schoolwork, even though everyone seemed to think I would be. And while I was struggling with that, my family was going through a really nasty divorce, and everything going on at home made it almost impossible to focus on school. It's hard to care about your work when you don't know if you're even going to be safe in your own home. So even if I wasn't harassed at school, I know what it's like to worry about your own safety every day. It was an absolute nightmare. And things just got worse and worse. I failed a lot of classes, I had to go to psychiatrists. Some people in my family even accused me of being on drugs. That really threw me for a loop. I mean, I can't even fail on my own? Everyone around me seemed to be so personally and deeply wounded by me not doing well in school, and the pressure that came from constantly disappointing all of them was just too much to bear. I had headaches all the time from the stress, I was missing a lot of school, and eventually things reached a breaking point. It was decided that I should just drop out because this definitely wasn't getting any better. So I left school when I was 14, right before junior year. And almost immediately, it did get better. I stopped being stressed out all the time, the divorce was finalized, and we got away from my mom's ex, and I just felt unbelievably better about everything. Maybe that's not how you're supposed to feel about dropping out, but it really did help me. It was like hitting the eject button before you crash into the ground. So after that, I just spent a few years hiding out from the world and putting myself back together. And now that I had so much time on my hands, I could spend all day learning everything I wanted to. It was wonderful, better than it ever was at school. I practiced my writing and gradually got better at it. I started to become the person that I wanted to be, not the person everyone else wanted me to be. And at the same time, I became more and more certain that I was gay. At that point, I didn't tell anyone because I didn't really know how, and I had no idea how they would react. It would take a few more years before I was comfortable enough and brave enough to come out. out. When I was 18, I got my GED, which was incredibly easy. Practically anyone can get a GED. It's not difficult at all. Then, when I was 19, I started making videos for the internet, which I really love doing. It ended up being more successful than I expected, and it's become kind of a full-time hobby for me. And then, in 2009, I finally came out to my family. I was so worried about how it would go, and it was really scary to just tell them, but thankfully they were all totally accepting, and it was such a relief. I was so happy to not have to hide it anymore. So now that I'm out of school, out of the closet, and into a larger world, I can tell you, there are lots of people out there who are just like you, and they will accept you and appreciate you for who you are. And whoever you are, there is a place for you, a place where you belong. You just have to find it. But in the meantime, if you're stuck in a terrible place full of awful people who don't treat you right, here's what's going on. A lot of younger people have this issue where they're not able to understand that other people are the same as them, that other people have feelings like them, and that other people are actually real and don't deserve to be hurt. They really can't see that there's something wrong with what they do to people. It's like they're just missing a part of themselves. These people are either going to grow up and feel really bad about how they treated others, or they won't and they'll spend their entire lives being miserable assholes who drive away everyone around them. You, however, are already ahead of the game. As much as it hurts sometimes, at least you have the ability to feel. You are something more than they are, more human. Some of those people will never be like you. They may never be that human. The people who are abusing and mistreating you right now are going to be the losers. They are going to be the foolish ones. There is no place for them in the much-acclaimed real world where bigots and bullies are obsolete and laughable. Nobody will want to be around them. These people amount to nothing. But people like you are the ones who succeed. People who are tolerant, kind, sensitive, and decent. People who treat others well and just want to live in peace. That's a life worth living. I can't guarantee that it will get better for you. I don't know that. But it will get different, and it will change. You'll have more opportunities and fewer limitations. You won't be forced into a building full of thousands of people every day to be harassed by them with no recourse. If your family doesn't accept you, you can leave. If your church doesn't respect you, you won't have to go. If where you live is full of terrible people, you can move someplace better. You'll have choices, and you'll have the chance to become whoever and whatever you want to be, as long as you make it through this. In all honesty, I don't know what anyone could have said to me at that age to convince me that things would get better. I don't think I would have believed them. And I don't want to be one of those people who says, oh, you'll understand when you're older. But I had to grow up and see it for myself. And it was better. I could never have imagined how amazing my life would be. And I'm so glad I'm around to see it. Everyone deserves that opportunity. Please, don't throw it away. It does get better.